Hello, this is Brendan Bailey with GW's Programming for Analytics course, and right here I'm presenting my individual project. I am comparing international net aid to GDP per capita, and the reason why I compare these two different indicators is that GDP per capita measures how much a country can potentially give wealth to its people, and international aid is really used to lift up countries out of poverty. And the interesting thing here is that, countries with lower GDPs per capita tend to have higher international aids, but there are some outliers in that case. And part of this tool is to allow users to explore these outliers. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a Tkinter front end page here that allows me to select year and country. And we're going to go ahead and look at Afghanistan through the decades. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. And it's going to go ahead and pull up a Bokeh web page for me to look at and analyze the data. So it's churning, it's churning. And there we go. There we go. So right here, you could see that Afghanistan is really, at the bottom barrel here when it comes to GDP. I mean, both GDP per capita and international aid. You could see here that India is number one. Algeria is number two, and these are countries with lower GDPs per capita. But here are some interesting outliers. We have Israel right here, which has essentially high GDP per capita and a very high aid level for its ability as well. So here we have a scatter plot of all countries receiving aid for that given year. If you scroll down, you could see that you can compare the median aid to the amount of aid that country is receiving. And you could see here that Afghanistan tends to, even though they're at the bottom barrel, they're still doing way better than the median country. And here you could see that the median GDP per capita is higher than Afghanistan. So just a little bit of comparison between the two. We're going to go back to the front page. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way to now. Now, I assure you that if you were to scroll decade to decade, Afghanistan would still be at the bottom of the barrel. I've done it myself. I recommend that you do it. But when you get closer to, the 2000s and 2010, their GDP per cap, I mean, their aid springs up like wildfire. They are the second biggest bringer of aid. Only second to Egypt right here. So really it allows you, and both of these countries are getting aid due to international affairs. Afghanistan, of course, due to the war on terror, Egypt, because of the Arab Spring. So, really, this tool allows people to see and compare, different countries and what they're exploring. This, for me, has also been an exploration on what the bokeh system can do. If you want to go beyond Matplotlib or ggplot and have a little bit more interactivity with your plots, this is a potential contender, and it's a Python-based contender versus RShiny. So you could see here that you could hover over any of the data points and it'll give you information regarding them. You can also go ahead and save any particular plots that you'd like as a PNG, and that way if you need to reuse it in another presentation, it's available. So all this data was sourced from the World Bank, and it's really just called through an API, fed into Tkinter for the front end. Once the user selects their particular country and state, the data frame is filtered in so that Bokeh can take it and display it to the user. So I appreciate you listening to my presentation. Thank you so much.